Hello everyone, I'm Lensquick. I'm a competitive player in the EA Skate franchise, and I started playing in 2014. I obviously didn't play for 11 years in a row, but I was active in the scene for a lot of it, and now with Skate 4 around the corner, I figured this was the perfect time to document my journey in the scene since I started, because there have been amazing ups, but also devastating downs, which leads me to where I am today. A multiple world record holder, a multiple world record holder and player of all three Skate games, helper to the community, and I'm one of the main strategists behind new route developments and maps. This is the journey of my Skate history. My journey starts when I was 10 years old in 2013, and I came around videos of people playing Skate 3 competitively. I immediately started to like how the game looked, and was telling my parents that I wanted a console in Skate 3. But they told me I was too young, and eventually I got a chance to get a PlayStation 3 and a Skate 3 the following year, if I completely maxed out my grades in school. I got to work, and I couldn't wait to get my PS3. In 2014, I finally got it, and started playing and trying to learn competitive, which I thought was called trick climbing at the time. Going into public Mega Park lobbies and just spamming random dark catches and grabs. It was an amazing adventure being a new player to the game, seeing how others played, trying to learn what they did by looking at their movements, because competitive tutorials were very scarce at the time. I tried to talk to everyone in the lobbies when I was using PS3 messages at the time, and I eventually met my first friend, Skate Profs. Both of us liked competitive and were hyped about it, and I created a Skype account soon after, which led me to meet more and more competitive players over the year. Some of which taught me how to play competitive at a better level, like 5 pops, because I thought that 3 tricking was the only thing back then. Some of them were fun friends, and some people really didn't like my voice. During 2015, Underclass Team Touch 5 came out, and it got all my friends and me even more hyped up to play Skate 3, and become better, and maybe even hit world records eventually, which I would do just a week later on June 18th, 2015. I hit a Trizada 1-up third round, 20.7. It was a world record. I was even with Luke in the lobby. It was great times. But anyway, back to the point. I was very happy and willing to play more, but unfortunately, a few months later, my PS3 controller started having stick drift, which completely stunted most of my attempts to hit scores. And with my father getting a laptop in 2016, I started trickshotting on Call of Duty on keyboard because they didn't want me to buy a new controller, so I wasn't able to play Skate 3. Eventually, I started to do video editing and trickshotting more and more, and I was pretty active in that scene until 2019. While I was gone from the skate community, the community evolved in various ways, both socially and especially in the way people played. People were tricking much faster, infinite popping took massive strides, and a lot of the old gen players who I looked up to stopped playing the game for various reasons, and now there were new teams and new players carrying the torch, and it was exciting to get to meet them. With my new editing skills I've acquired through the years, I tried to return to the skate community after I left the Call of Duty community. And with new things like a PS3 emulator being around the corner, I was very excited to try to make an impact, since aside from the record I had in 2015 and the friends I had, I wasn't exactly a known name by any means. No one really knew who was Lensquick or Troplicity. I was just known by the people I play with mostly, but like not in a popular sense. In 2020, I quickly got into contact with some very popular faces that I wouldn't even become close to talking to in 2015, just because of my editing portfolio in that moment. It felt surreal talking to legends of the game after so many years of looking up to them, and I was given a chance to try out editing for the largest active team in 2020, which was Vibe Skating. I ended up making an edit for Kenny Lucky, episode 6 on Skate 2, which surprisingly got very positive reviews and put me into the team, and now it was Vibe Lensquick. So I earned some money editing in the past, so I was finally able to buy a new PlayStation 4 controller, and I wanted to try to become a competitive player again, since that was my beginning originally. But this, however, would be accompanied with one of the largest incidents in Skate 3 history, and would be a massive blow to my reputation, and almost the end of my career. In mid to late 2020, my 2016 skate skills were far from the standard to hit world records on Skate 3, but they were enough for me to get a lot of easy records on Skate 2 due to no one playing Skate 2 that much. And then after my records, Kenny Lucky used his superior skills to beat the scores and hit scores on almost all the maps. And after that, I tried to do a thing that to this day is my worst mistake. And I'm glad that was, immediately caught, because if this continued, it would have been much worse for me and I would have never, become who I am today. On February 5th of 2021, I tried to get away with a sin. I went on cue ball on Skate 3 on normal difficulty playing vert, and I changed the tailwalk score value from 140 to 250, which made me get an unbelievable score of 26,000 points, which immediately led to a federal investigation from the EA Skate Council, which Luke and Kenny led alongside important skate community members. From that day, I was a confirmed cheater, which came with great shame and an immediate competitive blacklist from active teams at the time, vibe skating and only streetboard. And more importantly, I was indefinitely banned from all the competitive leaderboards. I tried to stay in the community, but I knew that things were beyond repair in that moment, and I left the scene after months of deserved hate and failed attempts at returning. Even though I left the scene, I silently worked on improving my skills so I can right the wrong of the past and hit real world records in the future, because I just couldn't live with myself knowing what I'd done would be the end of my career if I didn't fix it. From 2021 to 2024, I was silently uploading videos of legit world records from time to time, and at moments trying to come back into the scene while improving my skills significantly to hit these new scores. Obviously, each time, whether because of my behavior in 2020 or because of the severity of my mistake, every time it was returned with a clear no from the community, which always came with both pinpoint accurate criticism, which was deserved, but mostly with hate comments. I realized in those moments I had to change who I fundamentally was as a person, and not just as a competitive player, to ever have a chance to return. I stopped responding to any hate comments, which before I would be very defensive about, which is about as useful as putting gasoline in a fire. I started helping people in the competitive Discord servers with anything from setting up their game or helping them with their competitive techniques. I'll be talking to others more and more, just persevering through all the hate and the memes like, oh, Lenswig's a cheater, guys. Becoming friends with Mr. 2 Cents and Butley, who to this day are my best friends. They're very experienced skate players, so shout out Mr. 2 Cents and Butley. They really believed in me when I was the worst, and I am very grateful for that. And over time, I became more tolerated as a presence in the skate community, even though I was still blacklisted, obviously, from the teams and the leaderboards during that time. Now we go forward to 2024, and this is something very important. In 2024, my skills were at a high level now, and that's the moment I tried to make a really serious return and give it my all to return to the leaderboards. Because that moment in 2024, it was pretty good. I was in a good position with most of the community by that point, hit a lot of previous scores that people, saw was legit, but no one was like, yeah, put him back on the leaderboard. People just saw like, hey, this guy's good. So then I began my operation in late 2024. I hit and sent a bunch of insane legit scores I have hit for analysis to the council and to the community. And the summary I received was a bittersweet but also optimistic answer. The scores I sent in did not count and were never added to the leaderboard, but for a very good reason. Due to what I've done, they saw that the clips were legitimate as in the gameplay, but the analysis people and the community didn't have full trust in me. So they gave me one last chance to prove myself. I had to live stream all world records attempts in the future and follow their proof standards to show that nothing could interfere with the game and make it illegitimate. I followed these standards, and the rest is history. After 4 long years, I finally get a chance to make things right. Single sequence on me.